Hello and welcome to Truthloader's Monday show featuring the annual anti-whaling battle, Chinese moon missions, snow in the Middle East and, of course, your comments. And as always, you can use the arrows above me to move between stories. And first up to Australia, where anti-whaling activists Sea Shepherd are setting sail for their annual battle against Japanese fishing fleets. For the last decade, activists have been battling the whalers, who skirt an international ban by declaring their activities research into the impact of the creatures on fish stocks, and obviously into how delicious they taste. This year, Sea Shepherd's motley armada consists of 3 large ships, 6 speedboats and a helicopter, with over 100 crew joining the fight to stop the whalers from netting a little over 1,000 whales, including endangered humpbacks and fins.
That the only thing that stands between the whaling fleet and the whales being killed is us. Over the last 10 years, we've gone down each year stronger, and this year we finally got a fleet that can match the Japanese whaling fleet.
The group say they would rather the Australian government do the job of enforcing the ban for them. In the meantime, their aggressive tactics have won them both critical acclaim and criticism. They may not have to do the job for much longer, though. The International Court of Justice in The Hague will soon rule on a case brought by Australia that will decide if Japan's Antarctic whaling is allowed under the International Whaling Commission's scientific permit clause. And talking of majestic sea creatures, it's time for your comments. Our piece on the fatal tasering of naked Brazilian student Roberto Laudicio Curti in Australia got plenty of angry reactions. Chicago Cubs 10601 summed up the feeling of many, writing, "Where the hell is he going to hide a weapon whilst he's fully nude?" Good question, and with 21 upvotes, plenty of people agreed. And in our piece on the crisis in the Central African Republic, Tech Specs, who I think had a top comment last week as well, good work, wrote, "It's heartbreaking to know that things like that are still happening." Dismayed face. Yeah, all things considered, it is rather, isn't it? And 22 people agreed with you. And now to some of the other stories we liked from the last few days, and China has become the 3rd nation to put a working rover on the moon. On December 14th, the Chang'e 3 lander touched down, the first soft landing on the lunar surface since 1976. Shortly afterwards, the U2 rover rolled off the lander and the two began to photograph one another. Ah, holiday snaps. China's moon mission is at least partially economical. U2 will spend 3 months analysing the moon's natural resources and geology, whilst the stationary lander will perform a similar task for a year. The mission is the second of a 3-phase programme. The next step is to send up a rover and return it to Earth, a significantly more difficult challenge. And finally, it might look pretty common to anyone who lives in colder climes, but this is the first time in 60 years that Jerusalem has seen significant snowfall. In a few days of freak weather, Cairo was also blanketed for the first time in over a century. Whilst it might have been pretty, though, the storms were far from welcome in Syria and Lebanon, where refugees living in tents and in many cases without proper winter provisions were left suffering under a thick blanket of snow. That's it for this week. Do please subscribe, like this video, share it, and check back later in the week where we'll have more awesome stories.